Hey YouTube, what's up? It's CS back here with another installment, and here is my review for episode 27 of Deadliest Warrior between Saddam Hussein and Pol Pot. Well, YouTube, what do you guys think? First off, where do I start? What an episode. Definitely one of the more controversial ones. There's a few things I didn't call in this episode in my prediction. There's a few things I did call. I'll get to that soon, but first, tell me what you thought. Geez, I'm still in shock. Can't believe it went down the way it did. I thought Saddam Hussein would end up killing Pol Pot with a combat knife. That headshot with the Browning, that was some classy shit right there. Yeah, great episode. You know, I thought when he did point the gat at Pol Pot that, you know, he would have ran out of rounds or something. Then they would have some sort of fight between cane knife and combat knife. You know, would have liked to seen that, but I like that headshot. You know, pretty classy stuff. So what do you guys think of that? But silliness aside, let's get to some tests, starting with test 1. So in test 1, we had, you know, a combination of weapons in these tests. Some of the coolest stuff I've seen on Deadliest Warrior. It makes sense to why they have tested shit like this. You know, for the most part, each dude is probably going to carry all 3 of these weapons, you know, each in the 5-on-5 battle, except for maybe Saddam or Pol Pot themselves. So, you know, I'm pretty sure the 4 goons that they're with will probably have a light machine gun, probably have, you know, a sidearm and a short-range weapon, and probably, you know, an explosive. So it makes sense to why they tested 3 of those weapons in this test. I'm really glad they did. You know, it was a cool test. What can I say? It just made sense. It's about time they did something like that. Yeah, of course, Saddam's dude went first, Calvin Bondley, with the RGD5. He also had the RPK and the Browning, you know, semi-automatic pistol. Love that Browning. Nice, powerful little gun with 13 round capacity. Basically why it got the edge over the Tokarev. You know, of course, Jonathan Kahn for the Khmer Rouge, you know, he had the Tokarev handgun. He also had the RPD, and he also had the stick grenade in that test. I said the Browning was going to get the edge for round capacity. That it did. RPD, you know, didn't get the edge yet. I'll get to that later. But in this test, outperformed the RPK because the RPK was a tad slower due to the fact that it had to reload. It only had, you know, a 40-round magazine compared to, you know, the drum that the RPD does. So, you know, that led to RPD into getting the edge in the next test. I'll get to that later. But here we still have to take a look at explosives, and the stick grenade outperformed the RGD5. Talked about the RGD5 in my prediction video and said how it did decent in the Spetsnaz Green Beret episode. And I thought that it would have more frag and a little bit more blast radius to it. But for the most part, the stick grenade, you know, when you threw it, it would just stay because it's not rolling around like the RGD5. So you can put it where you want more. Maybe it doesn't have as much frag or shock to it. Maybe it was just thrown in a more, you know, friendly area for it to kill people. But, you know, from what I saw, I think the frag, you know, was pretty much, you know, the same in terms of trauma like the RGD5 can create. And I think where it was thrown, it was in a better area for it to touch the far target, which the RGD5 couldn't. So, you know, for the most part, the stick grenade was just thrown in a better area. And since it was basically easier to throw, you gotta give it the edge, you know what I'm saying? It was easier to throw, hence it allowed for, you know, more shock and more frag to hit the targets. So, edge to the stick grenade. And I also mentioned the edge already for the Browning. So we got those 2 edges out of the way. Alright, but let's now move on to test 2, where we had the RPD and the RPK tested again for reevaluation. You can't just give the edge after that test. Let's actually see the most dominant weapons of, you know, these kind of matchups in a single test against each other besides the first one. So I like how they did that in this car hijacking kind of test in test 2. RPD went first. Jonathan Kahn, was a beast with that thing. He had a lot of hustle, and for the most part was picking those dudes off in the car really well. And, he had enough rounds to do it. So what can I say? He did his shit in 45 seconds or something. And then Calvin Bonley, for Saddam's side, went up with the RPK, had to reload once, still took out everyone in less than a minute and 59 seconds. So 45 to 59 seconds, you got to give it to the RPD. He didn't have to reload. He has more rounds and delivered the same results with, when compared to the RPK. So Edge, RPD. All right, y'all, now moving on to short-range weapons. We had the cane knife of Pol Pot up against the bayonet, or what they called it, a combat knife for Saddam Hussein. Really was a combat knife. It could be used as a bayonet by attaching it to the RPK. But you saw Calvin Bonley, use it unattached. And you saw him stab through that shit, those pigs. It was a pretty nasty test. Looked pretty good. Some instant kills right there. So, nice test on behalf of Calvin Bonley. And then you saw Jonathan Kahn with his cane knife. Pretty devastating shit. It can really chop. But, it did get stuck once. Ended up not getting the edge like I thought it would get. So, the combat knife, it was just made for killing. It makes sense. The edge was... the test was just as devastating as the combat knife. As the cane knife. Plus, in the hands of the right person, like the Republican Guard. They're trained. They know how to use that shit. Combat knife, in the hands of the cane knife in the hands of a 16-year-old boy. If he misses with that thing once, he's going to get stabbed. And he just might, because it's not like he really knows how to use it besides chopping down sugarcane. Edge went to the combat knife. I still like the bigger blade than the cane knife. I think I'd know how to use that better. I like the range. I like the range on that cane knife. That's just preference, though. But, I can't hate on Edge going to the combat knife, though. So, whatever. Edge, combat knife. Alright, but let's finally get to X Factors. And this is basically where Pol Pot shit the bed. One of the reasons why he lost. Of course, weapon on weapon, you gotta give it up. You gotta give it up to Pol Pot, especially where he had the more dominant, primary weapon in his light machine gun with the RPD. The RPD ended up getting, less kills than the RPK in the end. RPD would have wrecked the RPK in the older Deadliest Warrior format. Just weapon on weapon in 2 different tests too, it wrecked RPK. Definitely would have got the edge. But because Saddam heavily outmatched Pol Pot in the end in X Factors, it just makes sense. He had the X Factors in dominance, training, psychological health. I'm pretty sure he got it in the end for initiative. Just makes sense. Saddam, professional army, Republican Guard, oil-rich nation. He had money to spend on making his army good. So, in the end, good army with good weapons versus good weapons and bad kids. It just makes sense that, Saddam won. Sure, Pol Pot did have that RPD, nasty as shit, but I'd rather take, the trained assassin with the RPK over some dumbass kid with the RPD. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I said in my prediction. I know I butchered some of the edges, but I did say that the RPD would outmatch the RPK. It didn't in the end. And it's because of what I said. I said that the X Factors would end up giving Saddam the win over Pol Pot and allowed the RPK to somehow triumph over RPD, although the RPD looked better in the tests. Just those X Factors, man. Saddam, training pays off, and we saw it here. So, again, that's basically why Saddam won in the end. If this was old Deadliest Warrior format, with Pol Pot having bigger explosive, the bigger primary firearm, there's no question he wins. I believe, at least 55-45, maybe 60-40. Looks something like that. But because it's this format, and Saddam Hussein kicked Pol Pot's ass in what's it called, in X Factors, that's why he won 56-44. I thought, say, if we were to redo certain episodes of the past, like say, the SS versus Viet Cong, holy crap, the SS would whoop the Viet Cong's ass, in my opinion. If you gave them X factors and shit with their, with training and that kind of stuff. Training's huge, and if you give them that X factor, say the SS over Viet Cong, they already have the firepower. I think that would look more devastating. They already whooped the Viet Cong's ass without X factors. So, some of these tests of previous would look a hell of a lot more devastating, in my opinion, if we added X factors. So YouTube, there you go. Saddam Hussein, he did it with training. What can I say? Said it was going to happen. It did. Now tell me, do you guys agree with the result? If you do, thumbs up the video. If not, give me a thumbs down. Tell me what you think as well in the comment section below. I'm really interested in what you guys have to say. Happy arguing, I guess. Please don't hate too hard. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next week for a prediction for Teddy Roosevelt versus T.E. Lawrence. Should be a sick episode. Really looking forward to that. Yeah, so again, I guess that about does it. I'll see you next week. Follow me on Facebook, Tumblr, or Twitter. If you guys do have that shit, please subscribe if you haven't already. Again, thumbs up or thumbs down. I guess I'll hear from you soon. So thank you so much and take care.